everyone, welcome to my channel guys, and in this video I will be sharing my thoughts on one of the most anticipated and hyped films of 2023, which is Lokesh Kanagaraj's Leo starring Thalapathy Vijay. This movie unfortunately got an extremely limited release in the northern states. Like none of the big chains like PVR, Inox, and I think even Cinepolis released it. Fortunately for me, there were a couple of theaters near my place where the movie had released and I was able to book an evening show, though I booked the Hindi dubbed show, and usually I go for the original language, but this time I thought with everything happening, I don't know if the movie is going to be subtitled or not. So I actually chose to go for the Hindi dub. I already have a video out where I share my very first thoughts after watching the film. So if you have not checked it out, please do. This video is going to be a much more detailed and structured review. Now, starting with the storyline, at the heart of this film is Thalapathy Vijay essaying the role of Parthiban. An animal rescuer and a cafe owner, Parthi's life takes a drastic turn when his past re-emerges, propelling him and his family into the crosshairs of a menacing underworld. Lokesh Kanagaraj already mentioned that he was inspired from a history of violence, and the beats of this movie is taken from there. We see that Parthiban is leading a very peaceful life in Himachal Pradesh. He's been living there for 20 odd years. He has a beautiful family and he's pretty much contented with his life. But as the story unfolds, several layers are peeled back, revealing a much darker past intertwined with crime, betrayal, and revenge. One thing Lokesh really managed to do beautifully was capture the duality of Parthi/Leo's life. You know, a loving father and a husband juxtaposed with a man haunted by his past. The very first sequence is with the hyena. You have watched it in the trailer as well. In fact, that is very symbolic. One might think that what is really the significance of this entire extended shot? There is a payoff scene with the hyena which I thought was not executed that well, but besides that, it's the metaphorical reference that the hyena represents. Its insertion in the narrative cleverly mirrors Parthi's internal struggle, a wild beast tamed but with instincts that resurface when and only when provoked. So the entire first half is a lot of context building around Parthi's life, so we get a really nuanced protagonist. But where the writing actually falters is the character building of its antagonists. Anthony and Harold Das, despite being crucial, and not only crucial, extremely crucial to the storyline, are deprived of this intricate character development that they completely deserved. The absence of a detailed backstory made their menacing roles less impactful for me. This lack of depth very visibly creates a void, which unfortunately leads to diminishing returns. You don't feel that the stakes are as high as it should be. I wanted to see more interaction between the characters when the movie actually goes into the flashback, because that is where the core and heart of the story is. I was kind of shocked to see that, okay, all the scenes were rushed so quickly, somebody else is narrating it, and then you have the remaining portion of the narration done via a song, and that too a song like Na Ready. Why? This is where you feel a little bit disappointed, because till the interval you are at such a high, your mood is elevated, you are so ready to go into the second half because you are waiting for something extraordinary to happen. And that's not to say that the second half isn't entertaining. It is, but from a narrative standpoint, when you build such an amazing protagonist in the first half, you expect the same character building of the rest of the characters, and especially the antagonist. That doesn't happen. Despite Sanjay Dutt and Arjun Sarja's valiant attempts to breathe life into these characters, the narrative falls short, not allowing the audience to forge a connection and, more critically, feel the looming threat that they are meant to pose. In a tale that clearly centers around vendettas and family feuds, the lack of a menacing antagonist diminishes the overall tension. So in the end, it really doesn't feel like a fight of equals. Direction wise, I think Lokesh did a fabulous job, and that is something which was like a given and which was expected. He got really good performances out of all the actors. And while watching the film, I can see Lokesh's vision for LCU, and yes, it is confirmed now that Leo is part of LCU. So I can see the vision, but I think I was expecting something in lines of Vikram when it came to Leo. And I don't know if it's really fair or unfair to compare it like this, but since Vikram was his last venture, that's why I'm mentioning the film. That film, despite having so many characters, just keeps you on the edge of your seat, and everything in the end merges together so well. Maybe I was waiting for a moment like that to happen in the second half. The first half gives you a lot of those moments where you are like, My god, this is just so epic. This is just so awesome. But I just couldn't feel any of that in the second half. But I have to also mention this again, that you feel entertained. You remain entertained. It is only just because it's Lokesh, I am kind of putting him in that pedestal. And yes, that is putting him in a lot of pressure under the audience's eye, because, something like a Rolex scene, how do you even recreate that? How do you even recreate such legendary endings for all of your films? And when I was visualizing the future of LCU, I mean, if you have watched the film, you would understand that imagine in one of the future films, there is a fight between Rolex and Leo, because both of them are badass. And we have not even established Rolex's character. Like, we don't know his past, but just the thought of that, I'm sure Lokesh has thought something like that, like something that larger than life. So I could see what Lokesh was envisioning. I could completely see and relate to that, because if something like that happens, oh my god, we are all going to lose our collective minds. But the stepping stone to make something that epic, a movie like Leo is good enough. I'm not saying it's not, but it could also have been as epic as Vikram. Now, the technical departments shine throughout with picturesque visuals that truly capture the essence of Theog. The cinematography is seriously laudable, and Anirudh's musical score emerges as the unsung hero, uplifting so many scenes that might have otherwise fallen flat. And as I said in my previous video, Anirudh's music and the actors actually giving their all in the performance really saved the weak screenplay in the second half. Performance wise, I honestly do not have any qualms, because everybody gave their all, and that is what you expect from a director like Lokesh, that he will extract amazing performances from his actors. Vijay was exceptionally good. This is for me his best acted film, and I have not watched a lot of his films, but from the limited roster that I have watched, this is clearly his best one for me. His chemistry with Trisha is also beautiful. Trisha also gets a lot of moments to shine in the film, and I just loved seeing them together on screen. A special mention to Matthew Thomas, him and Vijay. They were such an amazing father-son duo. I absolutely loved that dynamic, and this is what I wanted in the flashback also. I was so emotionally connected with this family in the first half. I wanted to be as emotionally connected with the other family also in the second half. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Also, I loved this other actor. I do not know his name, but he's the guy who enters the cafe first, and he had that menacing smile. So I don't know his name. I thought he was wasted in the film, because there was no, like, he's not part of any of the main plot, but his acting was incredible. Now, coming to the action set pieces, I loved all of them actually, but the one in the cafe is clearly the winner, because it's just not the action that impressed me, it's how we get to that point. It's how Parthiban reacts to that situation. It's how he literally gets pushed to the edge that he has to act that way. I loved it. Like, I'm telling you, Vijay really surrendered to Lokesh and said, make me do whatever you want to, I just want to give it my all, and he absolutely does. So yes, in its entirety, I would say that Leo stands as a testament to Lokesh's directorial prowess. While it may not be his most flawless work, it doesn't falter also. You will get entertained, you will be satisfied with the performances. Overall, you're gonna have a good time watching this film. And obviously, how the movie ends is something that, well, I particularly loved. I think we got a lot of mixed reactions for that. Somebody loved it, somebody thought it was pretty much forced, but I did not think like that. So yes, guys, that was the review. Those were my thoughts on Leo. Please do share your detailed thoughts, or probably you already have on my first video, but I wanted to give a more structured review for this. And yes, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will sign off now, and I'll see you soon on my next one. Bye.